Come on for the walk. Or get your mats. You're gonna stretch. Get your weights if you're just gonna do some weights. I guess line up your walking wall. Stand up if you're walking in place. Get your chair if you're doing chair exercises. Jump on your bike. Start your treadmill.
Power on. Bluetooth mode.
Ooh, guitar in the morning. Oh, Ron. Look at my set. Yeah, yo. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Africans in America theme park. I'm walking, y'all. I did all of this. I did the design. Yeah. Let's get ready to get this party started right. Every day and every night. Uh-oh. I keep distracted. If they ain't distract me enough. Sorry, Facebook. Let me do something with my bad homies. Oh. Okay. This looked a little cloudy. We are in the basement. It is winter time, but I have the window open, which makes me cold. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, a little camera adjustment here. Let me see. Do I look squished up? I look a little gray. That's what it looks like to me. Maybe Facebook will throw a filter on there. Great ride, isn't y'all? Great ride, isn't? I'm saying, why is this going so slow? I was trying to make it go faster when all I got to do is push a button. Anyway. Whew. Good news. Besides Kwanzaa coming up. You see my Kwanzaa stuff? Yes. I remember back in the day when Dr. Karenga and others were pushing for Kwanzaa. They know we would need something because we would be able to see these European Africans for who they are. The worst mixture. Anyway, they know we would need something as black Africans. And that's what they gave us. Yes. And I'm glad it's here. Because I got to tell y'all frankly, I could never understand. I used to eavesdrop on oldest people conversations. Because as long as like you sitting under a table, sitting behind a chair, they know you're there-ish. And if they want some water, dump the ashtray, something like that, they knew you were there. But as long as you didn't say nothing, you could get adult conversation, you'll understand it. So, anyway, I went all the way off the beaten trail. So I heard a lot of things. And they would talk about men and women cheating on each other. And that's why he beat her up. That's why he unlifted her and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't understand what cheating was. Caught with another man in the bed. I didn't understand that till I got older. And you go back and say, oh, that's what that meant. Oh, ooh. So, when I was in the cult, my grandmother's cult, they spoke about it like it was okay to teach us about a woman who was sleeping next to her husband, who allowed a man who called himself God to come in and, as they say, impregnate her. You gotta have intercourse, you know. You gotta have it. Okay? Just like maggots just don't come on pork. Flies come on pork and lay maggots. The same thing here. So, then when the incesting, well, and how they treated women, I had to resign myself. Ooh, put my shoulders up. Ooh, nice, tense. Let me get these loose. Anyway, I had to resign myself because that's what I was in that cult learning. You know? So, as I got older, and I reunited with my sisters and them up here, my father was Muslim-ish. I don't know. When it came to angry, he was Muslim. Anyway, everything about this holiday was how much money you could spend. So I got a little off, because I was a single mother I had nothing. I couldn't sell hoochie because I had to stay home and take care of my child. And now I notice the penal colony, this was all put in place a long time ago. They just upset that I didn't expire and take my child with me. Anyway, I was like, no, I'm not being stressed out trying to get you presents once a year when you don't even say hello to me the other 365 days of the year. Why for? You're rude, disrespectful, on and on and on and on. But just because I'm your familiar, I like to use that term instead of family, familiar. You heard my name, they've talked about me. Now I'm supposed to give you a gift? No, leave me alone. I don't do this holiday. I gave you gifts. But see, I would take you and teach you how to swim. But that wasn't the gift you wanted. You wanted a $5 gift. I take you to the park and let you run. And we have a good time and we go to carousel. But that's not even what your parents wanted. That's not the gift they wanted. They wanted me to get you a little Cabbage Patch Baby for $80. I was like, hey, ain't we going to Coney Island? Can't we use that on the rides? No. So, at this time, I was considered the standoffish, cheap, stingy, even though I was a single parent out there paying rent by myself, doing stuff. It didn't, this was the time. And no, first of all, I could not teach my daughter that laying in bed next to your husband and let any man, if his name is God, Jesus, whatever his name is, come up in there and open your legs. If he do that, he's called, or we call it now, a sexual assaulter, aka rapist. Anyway, so I just couldn't, and as I got older and older, I was happy I had Kwanzaa because I couldn't teach my daughter that was okay. And I couldn't teach her that it's okay your situation and where you are in life. No, 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 no. You was born in a freaking hospital, okay? I wish I had a midwife so I could say I had you at home. But I had you in the hospital, and I was freaked out the whole time. High pressure, blood pressure was off. I couldn't wait to get out of there because I knew in my heart, I think it was called St. Joseph's. St. Joseph said they care about the baby. The mama could die. And if both of them is hanging on the lid, just call for the priest. So I was in there. They was like, oh, your blood pressure high. I was like, just don't kill me. Just don't kill my baby. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill my baby. And everybody was like, oh, Vicki, they wouldn't do that, but you don't know the history. So I'm grateful that this was put in place for us. No, we came indirectly to this penal colony from Europe. But we came out of Africa. And if you see my father and my mother, you can clearly say they were the black Africans. If you see my husband that I picked to marry, clearly black African. So he put that in place for us. Not for you European Africans. Y'all have y'all whole laying in bed next to their husband. That's supposed to be horrible, but that's what they did to the Black Madonna. Let me just put it out there like that. That's how they bastardized the Black Madonna. That's all close to me. All right, so Freddie from Panama, Cuba, Panama, was my mother's boyfriend. We would say intimate partner. And he was from either Panama or Cuba. I can't remember which one. He worked for the post office. And my mother always wanted to work for the post office because in the 60s a little bit they were letting women in. Because my aunt in South Carolina. That's a whole nother story. So, in the 60s, when the Black Power movement came out, and y'all can hate if y'all want to, those kids came out of, what is it, Berkeley Community College or something like that. They were so manipulated. That's why Carter Woodson put out this warning. So is a man taught, so shall he think. I wasn't taught this, I learned this. I get vibes. Anyway, so the Black Panthers was out. They had stopped us from working in anything. Now think about this. They stopped us from working to feed our family any way possible. And when I say they, I'm talking about those Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar, low down, low life, no count, European Africans. Because they don't want to be black. We're better than black. How can you be better than black? Well, we make sure black don't get nothing. And then we're better than, no, bitch. No, that's not how it works. No. You see, we still got ours. That's how come we went to Africa and got y'all together. But anyway, we on the penal colony, so it didn't work out for us in the long run. So, it was the 60s. I told y'all I was already in school. By then, the African Ethiopians had taken over the school system. We started getting the Hebrew holidays off. And they weren't as Hebrew-y as they are now. Back then, they spoke Yiddish from Germany. But, okay, y'all know. So, when I asked them, oh, Ireland was, take a look at this. Ireland was over there fighting, killing each other because of Catholicism and King George's church. Now, King George and all them other ones, or King James or whatever the hell king is, that European African did his own religion. And so some people went with him. Then the Africans, the Europeans, had already put in Christianity in the form of Catholicism. Now, so that side was that side. So they're battling back and forth. But you know how simple it is that we don't see? It was, because this is how these European Africans are. The Protestant religion was from the King George, that European African. And Catholicism was way older from the European Africans bringing it in to Ireland. Now, basically, you see what I'm saying? It's all Africans, but it's European, and some European Africans, we Catholic, we're better. We're European Africans, we're, what did I call that? Not Catholic, we're better. You gotta see how Africans do. Watch their movement. You see that just because you take the color of the African off your skin, the African is inside of you. Look how you squabble over nothing for years, bombing, killing each other. Africans. European Africans. And finally, somebody said, duh, it ain't worth it. We've been manipulated. Anywho, let's get some water. Oh, let me take this side. I'm coming from the side, y'all, because I got stuff down there. There is a place in this city that has roller skating so far once a month on Sunday. On Sunday. So I missed December because I just found out about it. But I'll be back in the roller skating rink or rink-ish situation in January. Talk about manifestation. Here I am skating. I'm like, I'm getting ready for spring. I'm getting ready for spring because that's the only place I know we have to go up all in the mountains somewhere. And then I hear this and I was like, if we have good participation, could this be the rink? Manifest. I don't want to cross my finger. Manifest. That's why I want to go there and see it. So I can see myself skating. I can say, hey, y'all have a 12 o'clock or something like that y'all can do for seniors? We can come in and get a little skate on. We skate too. And I've seen them. Anyway, I'm off track. That big bass music coming through, and oh, the energy, just like when you're in the gym. Oh, that gym energy is awesome. But in the rink, that energy, oh, when we leave there, we are energized and exhausted. Oh, And now it's local. Anyway, let me get back to the story. Freddie from Panama, Cuba, Panama. So, we started with, and like I said, I was in school, and none of the Italian Africans, none of the European Africans, German Africans, sorry, I'll be specific, German Africans, they didn't know. They didn't know how I came, how the Africans came here, where we came from. They didn't know. So, after a while, we stopped asking. And anyway. So when the 60s was out, that's when we learned. But that's why I tell you, I'm going to show you the lies of the universities of, I don't know, how these people get all these degrees and shit. It must be the secret society. But I found out that if you get enough money, you can get paid for the highest accolades for a hangnail. Anyway, it came out, we had, they never answered me, but I found out from them. And they said, well, you came from Africa. Yeah, we had seen enough geographic magazines because they didn't have it anyplace else. Everybody else was a unicorn, clear white, looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Can't you tell the actions of European Africans? They're steadily trying to get that image of that ghostly appearance. But honey, that's vapor. That ain't nothing. Anyway, so that's what they taught them. So the man taught, so shall he think. Nobody decided to do a deep dive to find out. We, as a whole, came from Africa, but we on this penal colony came from Europe. We didn't speak no booga 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 beaga. But that's what they taught us in the 60s because that's what these European Africans were teaching them. That's what they were teaching them. Anywho, so before then, believe it or not, it could be after then, yeah. Before then, we was getting our hair straightened. That's with the hot comb. I call it having your ear, edges, and the back of your neck burnt. Why? Because the European Africans controlling this penal colony said if you want to get a job, if you want to eat, you want us to stop unlifing your children and you, start looking more like us. You see how that reverse went? And we should have said, you watered down European African, you don't sit your ass down somewhere. Anyway, we didn't do that. Every week we had to get our heads burned. That's what my sisters started calling it, get your heads burned. So, in the 60s, when they came out with that we were Africans, they skipped the whole European thing. Yeah, we had the frilly things and the frilly necklaces that you're seeing out now that you're saying, oh my God, Africans are trying to act like European Africans. No, that's what we wore, and that's what we taught them. Yeah, they stripped us down to the drawers when they kicked them asses out. They had nothing. That's why after the Emancipation Proclamation, yes, freed the enslaved, they had nothing. The stripped down policy still applies on this penal colony. Stripped down to nothing. The black Africans. Oh, it's edict. It's written. It's written. That's why I apologize to my senior and other, my cousins, my European African cousins, and stuff. I apologize. This is a penal colony, and it's not meant for us to have anything. So you're not going to have anything. They say they gave Social Security increase. Well, they just put you in another tax bracket where you have to pay more taxes. How is that a fucking increase? That's the math. That's the math of these European Africans. Oh, whew, DNR, y'all. Whew, DNR. Anyway, so we started wearing afros. Oh, beautiful afros. And as a lot of us said, we ain't got to straighten our hair no more. Oh, gorgeous. And my daughter, my sister who was mixed race, she had what you call like an Angela Davis afro. Oh, but big, beautiful, beautiful afros. We even had afro puffs. Beautiful. But Freddie from Panama, Cuba, fought with my mother. He didn't want it, the African. He kept saying, we're not from Africa. And we're like, Freddie, you do have a Spanish, and we know you're from Panama, Cuba. You didn't know it then, but that was another one of Spain's penal colonies. Didn't know it then. Spain and Cuba. It's where they put the ruling class of Africans in Spain. And probably Portuguese, I don't know which one speaks what. But it's those two penal colonies. And they didn't come from Africa. They know they didn't come from Africa. Though they had the Afrobeat, the Afrocentric, they finally found out that they did, but they came through Europe. The enslaved that they brought here, the prisoners of war, the prisoners of war that they brought here and enslaved, first in prison, prisoner of war, banished to faraway land, and then all their children enslaved, hard labor, annihilation, etc., etc. So, Freddie didn't know all that. He just know his family and them didn't come through Africa, they came through Spain, which we did. So, he didn't like the Afro. He said, we were going back to the time, and we used to look at him because he used to drink too. So we was like, what are you talking about, Freddie? But he was adamant. He came from Europe. He was a drunk. He was right. He came from Spain. Ruling class. Voted up. And sent to worlds far off that the African had already charted on map. That's why when they tell you those lies, oh, Columbus was lost and this was a... They weren't lost. It was all charted already. But you'll never see it. It's in the basement of all the crowns, honey. They ain't never gonna let the black African come back up. And that's why the ancestors keep bothering me. Y'all African countries, be careful with these Russians and Germans. They did not have penal colonies because they exterminated the black Africans. They called the mixed race, the ones that were so close to brown, gypsies, and ran them off. Then, later on, hunted them down. All the mixed races. All the African mixed races. Hunted down, honey. Hunted down. And that was the cause of all that war in Germany. It was the extermination of the European Africans that look close to Africans, like the Italian Africans. They ain't tell you what Mussolini was doing. He was killing off those Italian Africans, which they call Sicilians. All African. All are African. That's why this is so crazy. I was, like I said, I was darker when I was younger. Black, African. Now when you put it on a penal colony that was for me, then you could say, you know, for the black Africans, then you could say, oh, okay, yeah, all right. But you say you're a free society, and this ain't a penal colony. It is penal, USA penal colony, aka USA, aka America. It's a penal colony. Just like they got Guantanamo Bay. That's why it's called Cuba. They say it's a country, it's a penal colony. Castro did the most to try to make it into a country. And you know why I didn't like him? He was also a Spaniard African. See, there it is again, right back at you. So Freddie didn't like that. He didn't like the afros. He didn't like anything. He felt that it was setting us back in the time. And now I understand what he's saying. And the history does take us back to Europe. And it's true. That's why we couldn't have any instruments. I was like, why couldn't we have any instruments? Because they had to wait to so many generations to get rid of that music in us. But you see, you can't because it's in us. That's why they start with the record companies, and then they said the devil music. These European Africans are trash. Not all of them. Some of my cousins. Millions are my cousins. And on this penal colony, trash. Hatfield, McCoy, Douglas. Their whole thing is, we're the unicorn. But Freddie was right. We did come from Europe. Me, a wild herd of horses with only one thing in mind, Europe on its mind, could not drag me to the place I know. The last place I know history tell me we wars before we was put on this penal colony. And then I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was telling me about Dula. She did the history of Dula. She said, Vicki, you know that African Americans was the Dulas? She said country, penal colony, on this penal colony. She said, I said, take care of the mother, take care of the baby. Take care of the mother, take care of the baby. Yeah, that's pretty much was another one of the functions, along picking cotton, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she's talking about after Emancipation Proclamation. And again, yeah, because we had sisters had to help sisters. And they said that we didn't have, our children had what, mortality or whatever rate, lifespan when we were doing it and the doulas were doing it and the midwives were doing it. That's not true. That's not true. These German, European, and Ethiopians, these Irish, European, African, these British, European Africans, they would not be able to get hold of your baby or your wife or the mother if there was home births again. But they tell you all the time, the mortality rate in comparison to black people and the children and the women dying is astronomical next to. And I was saying to myself, well, don't that mean y'all unlifing them? They said, no, we're helping them. I done told y'all. If an Ethiopian ever got a Western DNA test, they would be shocked. Because they'll find out something that they think is a culture and stories for them now is a nightmare. Their long history of Ethiopian is wiped out. And that Ethiopian gene is now called, okay, Jewish. Let me see if anybody cut me off. They come, and I know how these European Africans work. They don't change in what they do. They come in. They coming for the money and the culture. They have y'all shaving off y'all head wearing wigs in no time. Have y'all in perforated sheets in no time, so they won't be able to see the African in you. Ain't that some shit? And here on this penal colony, y'all keep hopping y'all happy asses in that office. Ooh, help fix me. We've been fixing ourselves for years. And we taught them how to fix. That's what I was going to tell. Remember I told y'all the story yesterday? My daughter come, black castor oil, blah, 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 blah. So many stories like that I thought of last night, but can't think of one right now. That's sad. It's just how information comes to me, and different things from healing, and it's all natural, and it's something you can get. And you know what they test those drugs on? European Africans. To cure them and their illnesses. One for good luck. I'm going on a blind count. Not for us. Never intended. This is a penal colony. And like I said, I'm so sorry. This is when I got this vibe, and I was like, you know, I'm so sorry, European cousins, like the poor, because they're not going to give you, because you want health care. I want natural health, but you want health care. They're not going to give it to you, because on this penal colony, there's a chance that when I use it, it does happen. It heals me when it's meant not to heal me. See? So, it's like your collateral damage. You're not going to get, like I said, the 2%, 3% increase, but then they push in a different tax bracket, and then you got to almost pay more taxes, and then you got to file taxes, and then you got to pay taxes, and then they take the money out. They're going to start taking money out that you owe for anything out of Social Security. So you could almost wind up with no money. Squeeze your gut. Tuck your elbow in. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. And that's what they're doing. Y'all heard that crack? Hopefully they can take that sound out. And that's what they're doing. These Hatfield, McCoy, Douglas, Dim, and Republicans, these European Africans, the worst. And that's why do not crack my ribs, try to get to my heart. You ain't never did nothing to try to do anything for me ever before. Don't, like the last stages when I'm fitting to get the hell up out of here. Don't be trying to, oh, I'm a saver. You had 60 something years, if not 70. I don't know how am I going to be when it go down like that. But you done had all these years, and I assure you, by then, I'll be owing SSI because I lived too long. And they tried to kill me, and I'm still here, so I can't get no money. So, don't act like a DNR. Don't touch me. Don't act like you're trying to save my life. You never did before. All the years I was here. Go ahead and have your celebration. Well, no, in comparison, there is more African Americans that are dying or unlifing in hospitals than European Africans. Yeah. Different medications. Remember I told you I was a bartender? Tea and all that kind of stuff. And then you had the top shelves. Of course they're living longer. They got the top shelf. On this penal colony, they're supposed to get there. The overseers, the citizens arrest, they supposed to be in better care in the medical system set up for them. We are the descendants of the prisoner of war Africans that were kicked out of Europe, off the crowns of Europe, and put on these penal colonies. And we spoke Spanish. If you were put on the penal colony for Spain, you spoke Spanish, and the different dialects from around Spain. If you were Portuguese, you were kicked off the ground, you were put on the penal colonies, and of course there's different things, and of course they started mixing it. Anyway, we didn't come to this penal colony from Africa. We came from this penal colony from Europe. That's why they didn't want us to have any instruments. No instruments. None. For hundreds of years. I was like, why would they do that? What would we do if we got... Well, of course, the minute we got an instrument, we started playing their shit better than them, and we never knew a note. Because before we were in prison, a lot of us was like that. I learned that from the Honorable Chairman Mao. You get rid of the elite first. He got rid of all the educators, the professors, he got rid of them. He sent them up in the mountains. And when Europe was getting rid of us, especially the Brits, sent us on this penal colony, and the Jamaican penal colony, and the Barbados penal colony. I'm sure I'm missing for you. Virgin Island penal colony. We were all those things. We were that music. We were that classical music. Why? Because we're also the jazz music. We're also the rap music. We're also the rhythm. Do you see? You can tell what they say, the record of the horse by looking back at his track record. We've always developed that music. They've always jumped on board and took it their way. So, happy Kwanzaa. And the story of Freddie I'm trying to say is, Freddie was telling us a long time ago, and Freddie was before my mother died in the 60s. He was telling us we didn't come from Africa. We came from Europe. And when we kept saying, no, we came from, he was like, well, he knew he came from, I can't remember which one. It's either Spain or Portugal. He didn't go to the penal colony thing. But anyway, Thanks for coming on the walk, y'all. That's the story of Freddie from Cuba, Portugal. He knew he was African, but he knew he didn't get to Panama or Cuba through Africa. He knew he came through Spain or Portugal to the penal colonies. That's the Freddie story. Anyway, like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Love yourself. Know thyself. Whew, you couldn't get me to Europe if you told me it was gold in the street. Like, comment, share. Tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend to exercise. Stay away from those sweets, y'all. Come on. Fight for your toes. Fight for your toes, your kidneys, everything. Fight for your body. That's going to be there for you. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.